Here we go. So the recording has started, so do bear that in mind. So welcome everybody. We're so glad to have your interest. We're so glad to have this great number of participants. And I just want to say that throughout this experience, both Monica and I have been really impressed with faculty interest in making sure that they're doing their, they're already doing their absolute best, but with the best technology and with the best pedagogy by attending all these workshops. It's been wonderful to see the interest that everybody has brought to this. And I did see your question on the chat, and I do have some sources on a slide coming up, which you guys will all get the slideshow as a PDF, and the links will work from the PDF to help you find sources for your videos. Okay, so we called this How to Create or Creating Short Videos Your Students Will Like. And how short is short? Well, that slide there on the left with the bar graph, which I oh so lovely circled in green, that tells you what the studies show of student attention and engagement with videos. How much time do you get? Not very much, it turns out. You get about 6 to 9 minutes for maximum, for maximum content that's possible and delivery of material to your students, but also for their continued engagement. So when you think about a traditional class, hang on one sec, guys. Hang on one sec, we got 3 other people Zooming at the same time. Monica, do you want to take over for 1 second? I'll mute.
Sure. Yeah, so just trying to keep in mind that the best practice for video creation is really somewhere between like 6 to 9 minutes, right? That's your optimal length if you want to keep your learners engaged and have them actually remember something after the video is over, right? And so it's really important to just kind of keep that in mind, and maybe when you're starting to think about your lecture videos, trying to create something that is short and almost thinking about chunking, right? Making sure that we are really appealing to the students that are sitting there trying to, change their modality, right? This is something that they're used to being engaged with you in person, face to face, for 45 minutes, an hour, however long your lecture usually is. But now we're moving that online, right? And so kind of thinking about ways to deliver the content in short, digestible chunks so that students can actually focus for that entire time. And then we will be talking about ways that we can even up the ante further and really engage them, right? Are we going to put a quiz in there? Are we going to have them stop halfway through and engage with another piece of content? So yeah, this is just best practices of really trying to keep the attention span of adult learners, and the fact that 6 to 9 minutes is really the optimal length. And that is something that is shared beyond, QM and a lot of different higher educational institutions, is just trying to keep those times to short chunks so that you're not recording a half an hour lecture that's just your voice over a PowerPoint for 30 minutes, right?
I am back. And so keeping in mind that videos are going to be short. Oops, I want to stop that. Okay, we want to think about your content and how you're presenting it. And so there's a few tips that I digested from one of the references listed in the final slide. And I used a lot of C's because that just helps me. So I changed some of the language from the original. But what you want to really realize about videos is that it's important to cue. And this is something you're going to be used to have doing in the lecture, because a lot of times we will pause and say something like, now what's really significant here is to get students to wake up from kind of their tune out and start writing things down again. So you want to think about that cueing and signaling skill that you know from your in-person delivery, and probably accentuate it a little bit and insert it more frequently into your content. So you could think about that 6 to 9 minute video and make sure that as you present the material, every 3 or so minutes, you're signaling what's new and different, right? That this is an elaboration of the previous point, that this is the second point, that this is how it all ties together. You want to signal those kinds of rhetorical moments for your students. The other thing is that you want to chunk the material for your students into not just digestible bites, but modules or chapters or scaffolded orders of the information. So the small bites has to apply to logical kind of chapters. And you're not thinking, oh, I have a 1 hour lecture, I'm just going to get on and record it as I go through my PowerPoint deck. You're going to start looking at your content and you're going to start thinking about what are the best ways to capsulize and divide up this content in a logical way for presentation in this new format. The other point is to really winnow, weed, or cull your information so that you're focusing on essential content. And I see people asking about music, and music is great for introductions and great for fade outs, but you don't want to increase the cognitive load for students. So you want to avoid snazzy backgrounds, extraneous sounds, and music. Okay, so I put all sorts of tempting things in the links in the slide and for references, but be very judicious in your use of music and remember that you're battling for working memory. And the more that you challenge the brain in the moment, the harder it is for working memory to function. And given what just happened to me in my home office, I want you to think about our COVID-informed instruction as well as you make these videos. So these videos, yes, we want them to be effective, but they may not be as slick and pretty and dazzling as you might have created under ordinary circumstances, because cognitive load is higher because what is going around the students with bandwidth issues, with competing with other family members, with or without soundproofing headphones that privilege somebody else's voice in the same room with you, with childcare, elder care needs, perhaps now increasingly maybe with sick family members, okay? So their cognitive load because of stress and because of background interference with their concentration is already pretty challenged. So I just wanted to emphasize that's a little extra COVID context. Then you want to think about combining the audio and the visual in support of one another. So words going, we're going to teach you a little bit about how you can whiteboard in a low-tech way with a second camera, usually your iPhone. But when you're problem solving or writing down formula for your students, you want to make sure that you're narrating what it means. And by the same token, if you can illustrate what you're talking about when you're talking about concepts to your students, that is going to be helpful for students as well, because it turns out when you compare these two channels of learning, audio and visual input, that they combine very well together for retention. The other thing is, and if you go on faculty development, you'll see there's a video that I made there. I would have been assuming that I normally speak too fast for video and that I would slow down my pace for video. And while I may not want to use my New York Minute voice and pace, I do want to use a normal speaking voice because apparently it gets quite boring if we speak too slowly, and students can play around with speed themselves with most of their video playing, like YouTube and the like. They can play around with speed and slow us down. And I'm always, it does turn out speeding up webinar voices because I find that they go too slow for my patients. So use a normal pace and then try to have that immediacy so that your voice has some inflection in it, and that's going to help convey enthusiasm. So it might be good to take a moment and take a few breaths and remember why you love your discipline and really try and bring some of that that snazz and that energy that you have for your discipline into your videos. I want to pause there and see if anybody has any questions. Okay, your videos also want to not only promote student engagement, but also some kind of activity with their brain where they're responsible for doing something. Because watching videos can be a very passive device. And if any of us are, homeschooling this past few weeks, we can see that, right? So you are encouraged by the experts to post videos that have some text around them that might have guiding questions and call out for students what to watch and listen for as they view the video. And you can do that at the very beginning of a slide verbally as well. So frame things for students and let them know how you want them to be listening and what you want them to listen for. You can also intersperse questions throughout your video. And we'll have some technology suggestions and application suggestions that allow you to have students respond to those questions, whether in a quiz or in a video or text response. And one thing you might want to be careful about is having like a section in your course where everything is labeled as lecture, because students apparently tend not to respond too well to the idea that they're supposed to listen to a lecture. But if they see a content video that is helping them fill out an assignment or part of a course module in Blackboard, that tends to mean that the video has immediacy for them. If I watch this video, I'll know how to do the assignment. Okay. Now, there's a lot of other ways to use video than simply recording our lectures, right, to transplant or transfer content from us to our students. Monica, do you want to talk a little bit about using video to do some formative feedback for students? And I'm going to move the slide back up where I wanted it to be again. There we go.
Yeah, so it's great because Zoom is actually integrated with Panopto. So if you want to do a providing feedback video, what you could do is maybe you have a large discussion board and every week you are going in, you're trying to respond to students. And maybe instead you use Zoom to record a video of the feedback, right? You could pull up the discussion board and kind of give overall feedback about how people submit or how they responded, maybe what you liked and what you could maybe see, you know, improvement for the next week. And so being able to kind of use the video tool to really provide feedback to students cuts down on the workload on you all, right? I know that it's very challenging right now having to provide so much feedback to so many students for those of you teaching multiple classes or large sections. So this is something to consider to kind of, you know, make it more of a feedback tool, right, than just delivering content. Now you can really guide the students in ways that you want them to be participating in things like a forum. Maybe you've got a wiki, maybe you have some type of assignment in your class that the entire course contributes to. It's really great to be able to create a feedback video that kind of guides the students. And then it's a little bit more engaging for the students so that they don't have to read all of the feedback, right? They're not reading a post from you that's really text heavy and dense. They're able to follow you in an engaging way where you're going around and maybe clicking on some examples and giving them a more holistic view of the assignment and what you were really trying to get them to understand. And so you can also check for understanding, right? Kind of build that in. And so, so you can build in a quiz with video content, right, or feedback right into Panopto. And then you can use Go React to kind of have them co-construct knowledge with the students, with yourself and the students, and between the students themselves.
So here's that Go React moment. Monica, you want to continue?
So Go React is a great tool. It's integrated inside of Blackboard, and I just want to let you all know that if you create an assignment inside of Go React, the grading and all the feedback directly goes into the Blackboard Grade Center. So it's something that's integrated, it's something that is safe and easy to use for students. And so the way that you can use it, right, you can also go in and record anything you like in Go React, download your videos. It's a great tool. It's very simple and easy to use. And students can also go in and record their own videos using this Go React tool. And so it's really great to be able to deliver some feedback to students, right? And if you set up a video where you have created a feedback, right? So the assignment inside of Go React is the student must watch this video and comment, right? You can set up an assignment like that where you're providing the content or the video or the media that they're engaging with, and then you're encouraging them to respond and reflect back to you, right? Did they get what they needed out of it? What was something that they still have, you know, questions about? And then I actually used this in my course this past semester for the online teaching and learning program, and I created a video discussion board, right, where students were able to record their perspectives and in a video format, and then provide feedback to each other in a video format and an audio format in a way that they can just type it in. And what's really nice is all that feedback gets time-stamped into the video itself. And so if the student rewatches their recording, they can see at minute 3, you know, Julie came in and said, this is a really great point. I like the strategy you used here, right? And so it actually just puts it right on the video like captioning. And so it's really nice because you can also use this to deliver feedback to students with recorded videos, right? Again, that curated content and making sure that we're using things like outside sources as well, right? So this is another kind of aspect, is you can even go further and do a TED Talk or some type of media from our library, a YouTube video, and bring that in. And then you can ask prompting questions. You can create even a rubric for those things. Sorry, Jessica, I'm trying to read the chat. And
Oh, we can read that in a minute. It's not an urgent thing.
Okay, yeah. So GoReact is a really great tool. You can use it for a lot of different aspects. And if you're interested in using GoReact in your class, please go ahead and reach out to us, because there are 3 different types of assignments. And one of those is you can even create like an oral exam. So Jessica, did you have more you wanted to add about GoReact?
Well, just the point that a way to give ourselves a break as faculty, and also to emulate the example of very seasoned online instructors, is to curate content and not always necessarily feel like, especially in this emergency response teaching that we're doing, it's our responsibility to create all the recorded content in our classes. So that's where curating a TED Talk, a documentary, or I'm gonna add to the slides, I didn't quite get it in there, some of the library streaming recorded resources. When you add those into the class, it can be a great prompt for the discussion board, whether you do it statically in Blackboard and just put a video in there and then have them respond to the discussion board text with text, or whether you use GoReact, just that you should feel that you have the powers of research and curation, and that you can select high quality prompts for discussion and high quality videos for content that you can share with your students. And then you make the activity that you facilitate and guide something along the line of filling out a graphic organizer, or having a discussion, or doing point counterpoint, or some kind of debate or breakout groups in your courses. That, again, you're not the only content producer for your class. That's just a point I really wanted to make. And then we've had 2 requests for sort of like, I don't think we can do a deep dive today, but maybe right now what we could do is go over some of the next few slides. And then we've had requests, Monica, for a little bit of a dive into actually how GoReact would work. So we could either watch one of the GoReact tutorials, or you could show us something in one of your courses. And then also a refresher on how Panopto works for people. And again, we can sort of open up open up a dummy lecture or something like that, so we can get a sense of how things might work for people. But we'll do that in a couple of minutes. You really want to consider recording some certain aspects of accessibility and quality before you sit down to record. For one thing, it can be really helpful to create a transcript before you begin your video, and then it's already there for accessibility. If you're more of an impromptu speaker, of course, we have ways of adding the captioning later. And one is simply you record it yourself and you put it into YouTube, and YouTube makes the content captions, the closed captions, and then you can edit those captions. The other is to record in Zoom, and it goes directly to Panopto, and Panopto produces the captions, and there's about probably a 24-hour turnaround. I'm going to take a minute and drown out some background noise for you by putting my headphones on. Hang on one second. Okay. Can I get a thumbs up if you guys can hear me? I just want to make sure now that I put my headphones on. Yes, okay, great. So other quality considerations that you will see were affecting how my broadcast looked today is you want to make sure you have a nice source of light in front of you on your face, essentially, when you record a video. And it doesn't have to be fancy lights. I have seen several lists on the internet of all the equipment you need for your home broadcast studio. I want to urge you not to go overboard. And even something like an LED light in a clip-on clamp lamp that you might have had in a college dorm can work to shine light on you. And so can just picking which window and which side of your house, west or east, at which time of day you present from. That can help put light on your face. Be cognizant of your background. Too much and too little light will make it hard for students to see you while you broadcast. And I would always say, I have seen some faculty of my daughters as she goes to college online from the dining table. I've seen some of them use some of the moving Zoom backgrounds, the video Zoom backgrounds, and they're very distracting for students. So I would go for a static and clean background that's not too heavy visually with a lot of pattern and the like. You want to test your video and microphone a few times before the session begins. And again, you're going to keep that video to a shorter amount of time than you may be used to speaking when you speak in person to your students. Okay, so here we are at the tools. So Monica, do you want to get in the driver's seat and maybe introduce those two tools of GoReact and Panopto to faculty?
So Panopto is a tool that many of you already are familiar with. It's integrated into Blackboard, and it's a great tool because you can integrate Panopto quizzing. So the links in this PowerPoint will show you how to do that. The Panopto link will show you how to set up the Panopto in your class, and the quizzing will show you how to add quizzing to a video. So you do have to create the video first, and then Panopto lets you add a quiz at any time you want in the video. And you can do multiple choice, true, false, and short answer. Zoom is also integrated with Panopto automatically, so it's really great if you want to use Zoom to record your video. You can do that, and it'll automatically be captured inside of Panopto and be sent to your Panopto. So again, if you add a link to your Blackboard class to Panopto, then everything inside of Zoom will be automatically loaded to Panopto.
Okay.
Just quickly about okay. I just want to let you know, GoReact is also a great tool that you can use to record if you'd like, and you can record inside of GoReact and then download your videos and share them that way as well.
Okay. I think we'll have some time, and maybe we can actually show one of the videos about how it works, or at least take people through the links. Actually, do you want to go to one of the links now?
Maybe we should wait till the very end, and then we can show them. I can do a full run through of Panopto and GoReact.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, we wanted to share something that will help some of you in more of the hands-on learning disciplines. So we have a link to the soup can iPhone document camera hack in the slide, the last slide of resources and references. But I wanted to show you this hack that I picked up from a Facebook group on emergency teaching online. And what you see is the highly sophisticated mint milk crate. And there's an iPhone, you can just barely see it. There's an iPhone mounted underneath the laptop, not with glue or anything. It's just a sandwich between the milk crate and the laptop. And the faculty member has signed in the iPhone into the Zoom meeting and muted it. And then the laptop, the faculty member signs in from their main laptop, and they've created a document camera. So if they need to do that pairing of audio with visual learning at the same time, the faculty member can do that. And most of us have a phone, and I said iPhone, but it really is just your phone. It's your Android or your iPhone. It's signed into Zoom, it's attending the meeting, but it's capturing what you're doing so that your students can see it as you go. I can't show it to you on the screen. I see the question about our simultaneous transcription, but when you pull up the Google Slide presentation mode, in the gray bar at the bottom, you will see a CC, and when you click it and make sure that that CC button is golden, then you will have this automated transmission or transcription. And one of the things that's happening is it was capturing everyone's voices when I did not have my headphones on. However, my neighbor is doing yard work right now, and I had to put my headphones back on, and that means that since it's coming from my computer, it's only capturing my voice right now. So what I'm hoping is by the time we'll circle back around to Monica, I can take off my headphones and not be protecting you from my background noise so much. Okay. One of the other points we wanted to make sure that you got from this workshop is that you can also assign content videos for production to your students as assignments, just like you would assign them to have study questions prepared, just like you would, or answers to study questions prepared, just like you might assign an oral presentation. Now that we're in this new mode, students can take responsibility for their learning and the learning of their peers, and they can be co-constructors of knowledge or content, not co. And GoReact, Powtoon, Screencast-O-Matic, Jing can all be useful for students to produce videos. And just in case you're not aware, Powtoon is a video making application that's has a free and it has a premium subscription, and you can do cute things like make an avatar of yourself. They also have some template videos that they claim are very effective for being engaging for students, where you just add content, and it's a way of lightening up things and changing the look of your videos from, say, a static video of you at your desk narrating a slideshow. Okay, so here's a little bit more about Powtoon. Okay, so here, as promised, are some free content links for music, for sounds, and also, if you see on the far lower right column, also for images, so that you can be sure you're using open source materials and you have, at least at your fingertips, some library of images for your videos. And then here are some of the references that we wanted to be sure that you had. Okay. Monica, if you take over the share, you might be able to use Google Slide. I can't take off the microphone right now.
I'm sorry. So you want me to share my screen to
do anything that you want to do now, so that,
okay,
because I won't be able to capture. And also anyone who is listening at home and may want to have some transcription, they can probably open up Google Slide and turn it on, and they may be able to capture what we're saying, as long as your mic is fully on and your speakers are fully on. Okay. So I'm going to stop my share. This is a good time to type some questions into chat if you have any.
So before, I don't really want to do a how-to. I just kind of want to show you some of the tools and how they're integrated into Blackboard and how you can use them. Something else just quickly, if you are interested and you don't want to go into Panopto and add the quizzing that way, you can actually use a lot of free tools that are out there. So TED-Ed is a really great free tool. It allows you to add discussion questions. It gives you even more prompt research. It starts with the video, so it's very engaging. And it's great because you can use your own content or content from TED and YouTube. Same with Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is also a really great tool. It's free, completely OER, and it's another tool that you can, again, grab a video that's already existing or maybe one that you've uploaded to YouTube, and you can add questions in at specific times. So you can see that each one of these is an actual question that stops the video and prompts the student to interact, right? And so I do want to show you this specifically because this is something that Panopto cannot do. You can add a quiz to Panopto, but it all goes at one time. So if you've got 5 questions, you have to choose whether you want that at the beginning of the quiz or at the end, I'm sorry, at the beginning of the video or at the end of the video. And Edpuzzle lets you add things in at different points throughout the video. So if you've got something that's maybe a little bit longer, maybe it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right? You can then use Edpuzzle to kind of stop the student and chunk the content a little bit. So I just wanted to show you those two tools quickly. For GoReact, oh, let me check the chat. Sorry, everyone. I'm sharing my screen, so I can't see that.
I can read it to you, Monica, if
okay.
you want. Somebody asked about Fantasia, and I'm not sure if.
Yeah, I think they
Camtasia.
mean
Camtasia.
Yeah.
Great. I was wondering about that. So somebody asked about Camtasia. I shared that edpuzzle.com is the URL you were showing. And then we have another question about Padlet.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Camtasia is a great tool. It's high video editing quality, and so it's only available for faculty. So I want to stress that. Please, please, please do not share that license key with your students, because the minute the Chancellor's Office finds out the students have access, they lock it down. And so Camtasia, we actually have a license key for faculty to be able to download the software to your computer, and then go ahead and record and edit. So Camtasia, all Camtasia and Snagit are 2 tools that capture your screen content. And then Camtasia takes it a step further because it allows you to add maybe like text box. Maybe you want to make your mouse glow so that students can follow your mouse clicks. Camtasia just has, it's a lot more advanced is what I would call it. It's a great video editing software. It's just that it can get a little advanced when it comes to editing in the actual software itself. So those are just two really great tools that are available to you. Valerie, I know you asked about Padlet. That's another great tool. I do like Padlet. Padlet just creates kind of like a visual discussion board, right? So it allows you to create like almost like sticky notes, right? And organize your content that way. It's really good for maybe outlining or brainstorming, even, mind mapping, things like that. So I think it is a great OER tool. It is widely used. And so definitely jump into that. That's another option for engagement as well. But you can't really, Padlet's more for displaying content, right? It's not going to allow you to record inside of it. And so one of the main pieces that Jessica and I really wanted to share with you today is to make sure that you knew all the different options that are available to you when it comes to like the softwares and the tools and how you can get access, because Cal State East Bay does have a lot of this available for free, right? So those are your 3 OER for today, but let's go into a course and let's actually show quickly what GoReact can do, okay? So inside of here, what I love about GoReact is it's built into Blackboard. So in a content area or a place where you see build content assessments, when you see these, that means that you can go ahead and add to that section, right? So I'm going to click on build content, and then there is an option for GoReact right here. While we're in here, I do want to show you that Panopto quizzing is also here as well. Okay, so I know that you all are really used to going to tools, but for some reason these 2 have to go into build content. So if you want to add a GoReact link or Panopto quizzing, you can do that here. Okay, so I'm going to click on GoReact, and this is just, again, we're just going to set up a test example. The biggest feature that you want to enable is evaluation. So if you want students to be able to submit to this as an assignment for points, you do have to click yes to enable that evaluation, okay? And then we're gonna put 10 points in here or however many points you'd like. And then you can scroll down to the bottom and you can hit submit. Okay, and so what I have done now is I've created a link to the GoReact, okay? Because GoReact is what we call an LTI tool or a third-party tool, it's not made by Blackboard, you now have to do a second step, which is to go set up the assignment inside of GoReact, okay? This is really important for tools like Turnitin, GoReact, anything that, again, is not homegrown inside of Blackboard, okay? So our first step was to enable evaluation. Now I'm going to click on the link and I'm going to actually head into the GoReact webinar or website and need to update. And here are my options for assignment types. Okay, so this is, again, a really great feature inside of GoReact is that you can set up different types of assignments. Okay, a standard assignment is going to let students record a video directly inside of GoReact. They don't need any additional software. They don't need to download anything. That is a straight, please create a video for me. Okay, so you can record video. What is great about that is you can even do a group video. Okay, it'll look like a web conference inside of Zoom, but students can go through GoReact to do that as well. Stimulus project, what that means is you're going to provide the video that the students are going to watch, okay? This is really specific for things like American Sign Language or kind of things where you need students to interpret or do something, right? A stimulus is going to actually record the student watching the video. So you're going to watch a video of the student watching a video. So it's very meta, but it can be very helpful as well, right? And they can then comment and post comments to that video, okay? And then comment only, that's something that I used in my class. I wanted my students to watch a 5-minute video about universal design for learning. And then I wanted them to at least comment once or twice throughout the video on something that they either agreed with, they disagreed with, right? And so what's really great about comment only is that, again, it timestamps the comments directly on the video. So if you're giving a feedback, maybe of 5 minutes of the last discussion board we did or something like that, then you can require the students to comment and the comments will pop up directly on the video, okay? So those are the 3 biggest assignments for GoReact. And then if you are gonna do an oral exam where you want the students to actually present, then you will click standard and just make sure that you choose oral, okay? So I'm gonna do that just so that you can see your last set of options. Once I choose my assignment type, I can go in and decide whether or not I want the feedback to be private, closed peer review, and open peer review. And all that means is private means all feedback will only show to the instructor. A closed peer review means all of the students' comments will only be seen to the student who created the video and the instructor. And an open peer review, that's what you'd use if you wanted to mimic a discussion board. Because what that means is all of the videos the students have created are accessible to all the other students in the class, and they can come in and comment, and everyone can see the comments that are left, okay? Biggest thing here, make sure that you add points, right? If you are grading this, make sure that this matches what you've put into Blackboard. And then here's the multiple cameras button. The only reason I want to show this and emphasize this is great for group projects. So if I choose multiple cameras, now my students can go in and they can create a group video inside of GoReact, okay? If I uncheck that, I've got a few more options. So here's that single recording attempt if I want to make it a test, so students can't start over, they just get in there and whatever they capture, that's it. You can set a time limit, right? And you can even allow students to attach slides. So the last part of this that I do want to share is that students can share their screen, okay? So you can set up a standard assignment, and then when they go into the assignment inside of GoReact, they can share their screen and show you their presentation slides that they're actually presenting on at the same time, okay? So that's why this tool is so valuable, is because you can do pretty much everything inside of GoReact, right? You can share your screen, you can use your webcam to do a presentation, you can attach a PDF. So there's just a lot of options in here. And then the last one, just before I quit with my spiel, there is a student rubric in here. Okay, so if you create rubrics, you can actually attach them in here directly. And what I've actually used that for is a peer review. So I can create a rubric that I really want my students to focus on feedback to each other. And based on the rubric, they can actually give feedback directly inside of this assignment as well. Okay, so it's got a feedback feature. I mean, it's got a ton of different options, but I just wanted to show you quickly what that would look like. And then here's my assignment all set up, and I can see that I've got my ungraded and my graded all in the same area, okay? Any quick questions about GoReact?
Can you go over how students can record themselves and then have fellow students comment on their videos? She just wanted to make sure that that was, the questioner just wanted to make sure that open peer review was how that happened.
Yes, exactly. So when you're creating the assignment, let me go ahead and edit this one more time. So right in here where it says open peer review, that's what you'll do. Private, again, is only between the professor and the reviewer. Closed peer review is, if you put them in groups or things like that. And then open peer review is everyone can see everyone else's feedback comments. And the slides too would be, yeah, okay, yeah, absolutely. Jessica will be sending all of this information out and the recording as well. I'm going to stop sharing. That was just a quick Go React. Any other questions before I quickly show Panopto? No? Okay. So let me just quickly go into my course again. You know what? Let's start from the beginning so that I can show you all. I'm going to share again. Sorry. I want to share you all. There's two-step process for Go React, and there's also a two-step process for Panopto. Okay. Oh, sorry, everyone. So in Panopto, what you'll do is you will click on Tools, and then the first thing you have to do for yourself and for your students is create a Panopto link, okay? This is very important. I know a lot of times we download the software like Zoom and then we open it up and we just start using it. Unfortunately for Panopto, you cannot do this. You cannot download the software and open it from your desktop and have it work. Every time you go to utilize Panopto, you must go through the link in your Blackboard class, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is set up a Panopto link so that I have an access point to get into my Panopto, okay? So Tools, Panopto, and then I can just say this is going to be my Panopto link. And I'm going to say that it's not going to be available to students because this is something that I'm just going to use to start creating content for myself, okay? So now I can see that students can't see it yet, but I can. So now that I've created the link to get into Panopto, when I click on it, it will actually open up the Panopto dashboard, okay? And here I can see all of my videos I've created inside of this course, okay? If you're looking for your Zoom recordings, that's gonna be in my folder, okay? So if everyone clicked on my folder, you'd be able to see the Zoom integration that's called Zoom meetings, okay? And so you do have to move those meetings over if you do use Zoom. But just to get into Panopto, I've created the link and now I'm here. And now I'm gonna click on Create, Record a new session, okay? Every single time I record anything for Panopto, this is the route that I have to go. I can't just open Panopto and start recording. I go into Blackboard, click Record a new session, and then it says, okay, you have Panopto, do you want to open it, right? If I didn't have Panopto, this would say download, okay? And then I can choose if I'm a Windows or a Mac user right here. Okay, so if you're a Windows user, you're gonna choose this button. If you're a Mac user, you'll choose this, and that is how you'll download the software. And then every time you go to record your session, you'll come in here and click on Launch Panopto, okay? And then I can open it that way. And then when I open that link, I don't know if I have Panopto on this computer. I do, okay, good. When I open that link, you can see that this is the interface to actually record, okay? So just briefly, the most important part is to make sure that your primary video is set and your secondary one source is set, okay? So I'm gonna click on this Create a New Recording button. And then you can see that on the left-hand side, I have my FaceTime camera. You can see me. This is selected as video, right? You can see that I have audio because this is turning green, so I know people can see and hear me okay, okay? And then this secondary one, this is where I'm gonna wanna choose my built-in display, okay? I can't do that right now, which is why I didn't wanna show you too much of Panopto because we're in Zoom. So Zoom is using my video display, right? So it's saying, no, you're already using it. But if I could click on built-in display, okay? So all you wanna remember is primary source is gonna be your webcam, your actual face, and your secondary one is going to be the slide that you're actually sharing with your students or anything that you want to capture on your computer, okay? Secondary two, you're going to ignore that, okay? That it's just secondary one and then the primary source right over here, okay? And when if I was ready to do this, I would hit that record button and then this screen unfortunately does not go away, so you have to minimize it, and then it will capture my face, my voice, and whatever is being shared on my screen, okay? So that's just quickly how to record the session. But then let's say I've got the recording and now I have some questions about how I'm gonna go in and edit this, right? So when I'm in here, here are my actual recordings once they've processed, and I can hit this edit button and it's going to open up in a new page for me, the actual video, and it's gonna allow me to edit, right? Here's my quiz. I can see that I've added a quiz here. Maybe I just wanna cut the beginning off so I can use the scissors to do that. This is just your basic, very, very basic editing. You cannot do very much inside of here. I just wanna let you know, if you wanna do some intense editing, maybe you wanna cut out a middle section or you want this, this glow around your mouse, that you'll wanna do inside of Camtasia. Okay, but you can do some minimal editing here. And then just briefly for accessibility, on the left-hand side, there's a captions tab. And what you can see is that if I import, here's my automatic captioning, right? So everything that goes into Panopto is automatically captioned for you. But let's say that this is not what I said, right? Maybe I didn't say, and then cook for the slides. Maybe I need to edit that to say, look for the slides. See, I can just directly edit my slide, my captioning right in here, okay? So that's really a really great feature about Panopto is it automatically captions. You can go in and edit. You can go into a quiz and edit your quiz and add quizzing to this video. And you can also, you know, cut it very, very basically. Any questions about Panopto? Go back here. That was just a quick how-to. Again, everything that we've covered is linked in our slides. So in that slide deck, if you click on anything that's blue, so for example, Panopto, if I click here, it's going to open into a Google Doc that shows you how to do everything that we've covered today. Okay. I'm gonna stop share. Oh, we got, okay, awesome. Any other questions on Go React or Panopto or anything else that's a technical kind of how to, please let me know and I can definitely show you. Great.
Okay, so I hope you have a sense. I'm thinking about what people said at the very beginning that they were interested in now. So now you know some of the tools you can use. You have some tips for interactivity, which should help with the boredom because you can quiz or you can, you know, prime people with telling them what to think. You could, if Go React seems like it's going to burden your cognitive load right about now, that is fine. And we're not saying that you need to do that at this time. One thing you could think about is your use of Google Docs and your ability to load study questions or questions about the video into Google Doc and link the Google Doc to for students, and then they could watch a video and fill out a graphic organizer or watch a video and answer some questions. And just so you have other tools outside of whatever video interface you're using that could supplement and make more active the video watching experience. Okay, we have a few more minutes. I want to be respectful of everybody's time, but we do have time to answer questions. What's one tip? You can write it in the chat or you can share it by voice. What's one tip that you want to take home with you from today? Oh, we have a question. Let's see if I can find it. It just moved down on the chat line. Something about quizzes. Okay. Monica, what do you think about quizzing and Go React or quizzing and Panopto? How about the grading? Can you just explain how the quizzes are graded in Panopto?
Thank you. Sorry about that. I completely forgot you all. So the quizzing inside of Panopto is amazing because as soon as the student takes the quiz results are automatically sent to the Blackboard Grade Center and the student can see them pretty quickly. Normally it would take about 5 to 10 minutes. I would say, let's say about 30 minutes now, just because our traffic is pretty high. But yeah, that's the great thing about Panopto quizzing is it's all integrated. So it's, there's nothing that you can manually grade, unfortunately. So it's all automatically graded, true, false, multiple choice, and fill in the blank. And so it automatically grades and then it sends it straight to the Blackboard Grade Center so students can view their grades pretty quickly.
Okay. We have somebody who's going to try and do Powtoon instead of using PowerPoint for conveying their videos to students.
And I love that idea, Lee. I just want to say for those that are not comfortable sharing their face, we've got some students sometimes that are not very comfortable sharing their face and their voice and all of that good stuff. Powtoons is a great alternative because you use avatars or, you know, fake people, right? So you don't have to actually share any personal information, especially thinking back to what Jessica said about COVID-19 and how there's multiple people in a room. It might be really hard and challenging for students to try to get a clean audio track, right? Without the kids in the background and the dog barking. And so trying to think of alternatives like Powtoon where they can type in and use the automatic voice that's built into that tool, and then maybe take that video and upload it in other places to be able to share, like YouTube, things like that. And just one last thought, when it comes to sharing these videos, please try not to upload directly to Blackboard, okay? What I mean by that is use a tool like Panopto, YouTube, anything that is not just attaching the file directly inside of Blackboard, because when you do that, the students must download the video to watch it. And again, thinking about more equitably, it might take a long time to download a video that's 20 minutes long because of internet speeds and Wi-Fi bandwidth and things like that. That could take almost all day if you've got multiple people on one router, right? So just trying to think about ways to circumvent these issues for students, and using tools that are built in, that are streaming servers like YouTube and like Panopto that are inside of Blackboard, so students can just click and play.
Okay, so it is noon, so last chance to ask questions. Monica and I are both available by email or by appointment for consultations. If I missed your chat, just speak out now because I have to scroll pretty far up now. All right, thank you for coming. Expect an email from us shortly. And again, you'll get the PDF, and when the video is recording is available, I will share it. And I have to tell you, I get self-conscious about all the stuff about some of our broadcasting issues today. So be kind when you review it, if you choose to review it.
Thank you both.
Thank you.